let's go ahead and start with Cocaine Bear, the review for the film that just came out. Braden, I'll let you read the synopsis for it and let everybody know what this movie's about, even though the name is pretty, kind of speaks for itself, but go ahead.
Yeah, if you already didn't get a grasp of Cocaine Bear.
Yeah.
After a 500-pound black bear consumes a significant amount of cocaine and embarks on a drug-fueled rampage, an eccentric gathering of cops, criminals, tourists, and teenagers assemble in a Georgia forest.
There we go, dude.
Kind of sick.
So
they say it well in the synopsis. That's exactly what the movie is.
It's exactly what it is. And Brady, did you read the synopsis before the movie? Because I didn't. I just went in knowing.
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
no,
I
my brain had a process.
Did you have a stroke there? I didn't know what happened. I thought I had to call 911. Okay, just make sure. But no, I didn't read. Yeah. But no, I didn't read it either. So I didn't know it was going to be a bunch of like different forces coming together. I just thought it'd be like like you following one group of people. But no, it was like 3 different groups, and they all come together. Yeah, some hikers. The mom of one of the hikers. Then you have the drug dealers and all them. Ice Cube's son. So yeah, man, it was a super interesting kind of concept, and I like that they did that because it added a little bit something to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was cool.
It's based off a true story. I don't know what about it's true.
Oh, I know.
You know what I mean? And yeah. I mean, I would hope that what I just read was true, and it's just like maybe like how people were killed and like, you know what I mean? How many like is a little far fetched, but
yeah. So it was So basically, the dude that we saw like at the beginning, it's like you see this. This is a spoiler review, so everybody watching this has probably seen it. You see the guy in the plane, and he's throwing the cocaine out. You know what I mean? Then he jumps out with his parachute. It doesn't open. He just dies, which is great.
Dies. All that actually really surprised me. I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, no, he this guy's just thing, dead. Remember?
Yeah, knocked himself out.
Oh my god, that was gold. But then like the music just stopped. That was great. But no, he.
Oh my god, yeah.
That's all actually real. The dude actually was throwing cocaine out. He jumped out. Parachute didn't open, and he actually died. So all that's real. And the bear eating, I think it was like 70 pounds of coke, something crazy like that, actually happened in north of Atlanta.
I can't even imagine that. Just seeing a bear on cocaine. I would.
Well, his agility, which we're gonna get to when we talk about the ambulance scene.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
that was one of my favorite scenes.
Oh, it's gold. So yeah, just basically a bear just with like unlimited stamina and the eagerness to kill everything in its sight. So that's interesting.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, man. We kind of said everything we want to say. Let's just kind of dive into the pros and the cons, or the cons and then the pros, and we'll just kind of go through it. Even though, I mean, with the cons, like this movie's, it's so self-aware. It knows it's stupid, so you can't really give it any cons. But there's a few in here that I kind of did want to like talk about. And I'm sure you have the same exact ones, and that's probably it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Like, there obviously are little things I told people like straight up, it's not an Oscar-nominated movie, like, you know what I mean? But it's kind of like the Piranha movies, or like even like not even like Jaws, but like the old like I can't remember, it was like with an alligator, like just the stupid movies on purpose, like
Anaconda.
It's just like Anaconda, like Sharknado, like you just know they're gonna be dumb, so you're going in for like the wow factor of like
it's a popcorn movie.
This is just gonna be funny. Yeah, like you just want to sit there and enjoy yourself, and that's exactly what it did, to be honest.
Yeah.
Pause.
No, I'm with you on that, dude. So the 2 main cons that I had, Braden, and actually, no, I went first last time, didn't I?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll let you hit some of your cons in first. Good.
Oh, thank you, sir. One of my cons is I wish it was some like the side characters we got to see more of, like who they were and like development, like something with the hikers in the beginning. You see one of them in the end, and then the girl from the police station ends up working, spoiler alert, ends up working with the drug dealers at the end, and it's just kind of like, where the hell did that come from?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like, what? A little far-fetched in the way of like, I just want to see more. Like, I'm confused right now. Where, like, why'd you do that?
There's no build up to the reveal. Yeah.
No build up to the reveal, exactly. Yeah, and then maybe one more other thing. These are all like really small notes. Like I said, like I don't really have anything to complain about. I really didn't think of the negatives too much, but just kind of like of course the movie makes sense, like it has to go and be drawn out, but there's definitely times where things were like it was obvious on how to deal with the situation, and they purposely, for the movie's sake, just progressed it to make it worse. Like, you know what I mean? Either like by not calling the right officials, or like just social cues in the movie. Obviously, like we're following this one group, and then you see our next set of characters coming right behind them going the opposite way, instead of like meeting up earlier because they're like 20 seconds behind each other. It's not a bad thing, but I think it goes back to like what I was saying in the first point. I just wish it kind of like not wrapped up better, but kind of just threaded the needle a little bit better. You know what I mean? Where we still got that like a little bit better of a connection of characters and development of story, but then still all the crazy awesome gore. But like I said, I fully went in, you know, like we were saying, expecting what I saw, and I didn't really, those story points don't really bother me, but if we have to get nitpicky, then that's probably where I would go.
Right. No, I'm with you there, dude. Yeah, my two cons are pretty simple too. The first one is some humor just didn't work for me. Like, most of it was funny.
Pushing some stuff,
but
sure.
Some stuff, like, do you remember like sitting in the theater and hearing those really like awkward laughs? Like one person like down like a couple rows like, you know, below us would just kind
of I thought
like
the kid was super funny. Henry?
Yeah, oh, we'll get to that in the pros. Don't worry, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
There were some like really funny characters, and Ice Cube's son as well was hilarious. He was one of the best characters in the movie for sure. But like there was just some humor that like it was just kind of awkward. You know what I mean? And it wasn't like I don't know, it just didn't really like work for me. But most of it did. Once again, we're getting really nitpicky here. And then the second one is probably the biggest one for me. It's like some of the chemistry just fell off and be like for some of the characters. Like at the beginning,
totally
it was kind of
talking about that.
They started off a little rough. It was really hard to get through that first scene with the sheriff and the lady, the girl that eventually betrays them.
And then the guy who came in that was like the supernaturalist, right?
Yeah.
Super weird.
That and then like I said, the two cops. Those are the ones I'm talking about.
Oh,
remember,
yes,
trying to flirt with her, and it was in the cop car stuff. I was like, it just something. It almost was like they filmed it like different times. You know what I mean? Like it felt so.
They weren't actually in the same room.
That's what I'm saying. Like it just, I don't know, man. It felt very weird, and I don't think it was supposed to be that way. It was definitely supposed to be a little awkward, but not to the point where it was kind of like, what am I watching? You know what I mean? And I was like, dude, and I was really worried. I was like, if this is like this the entire movie, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good at all. But they fixed it, and the chemistry did get better as the movie got along. Once it started picking up with the bear, you know, the cocaine stuff, it got fun. You kind of got engaged with it a little bit more. But the beginning was a little hard to get through, and I was like, what are we in for? You know what I mean? And there were some characters that the chemistry kind of was weird. But other than that, I don't really have any negatives with it. Just some of the humor and some of the chemistry and the writing was kind of like weird. But that's just kind of my cons on it.
Yeah, I mean, nothing crazy.
No, it's a movie. Sit back and enjoy. That's what it is.
Yeah, and I have to agree. That's one con I did forget about, that chemistry thing. That's a big thing.
We both looked at each other instead of what?
That very first opening scene was just so awkward. I was like, yeah, and I don't know whose fault it was either.
It was probably writing. But no talent. There's, it's weird when you watch it. You're not like in the acting industry. You usually blame the actors, but it could be the actors, it could be the writers, it could be the director. There's so many different factors in it. It's never just the actor's fault or never just the writer's fault. It just really just depends on the situation, and it varies a lot. So that is one weird thing about being an actor, is you start to realize that, hey, it's not just the actor, it's a lot of other factors.
Going on?
You know what I mean? What's up, man?
What's going on?
So yeah, that's just kind of something I wanted to bring out there a little bit, but so that's kind of all the cons for me and Braden, right?
Cons. Super short, man.
Super short. Just like something else. So pros we got pros. Number one, I'll start with this one, dude. The comedy was like amazing. I mean, I know it's not going to work for some people because it's really stupid. You know what I mean? I get it. It's that dumb slapstick comedy.
But it's like, it felt realistic. You know what I mean? It felt like real life, like how we would really react. Certain characters, at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, 100%.
We were talking about that when we were watching it.
Yeah, we do. We were dying at some points. I mean, it was some really good stuff in there. But once again, then since the movie, it put so much comedy in it, there's going to be points where it doesn't work. The comedy, no comedy movie ever really has a perfect, laughs throughout the entire thing. There's going to be some rough points. And since this movie is literally just a comedy, there are going to be rough points, and that's kind of why it eventually did get to that. But most of the comedy was great. It was super funny. Like you said, it felt realistic. It's not going to work with some people because it's very slapstick, kind of like the Ant-Man comedy we were talking about. It's so stupid, but it's so stupid it's funny. It's real.
It's dumb, it's funny.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what this movie was. It was just a really fun comedy, and that kid, dude, Henry, man, was one of my favorite characters.
He stole the show in his scenes, man. He was just hilarious.
He did, and
he was one character. Never felt like he was acting. Like he just felt like he was that little delinquent ass kid,
bro. And I told you that too. Remember at the end of the movie, I was like, dude, he's like my favorite character in this movie, and it was weird because like, I was sitting there and I was like, this kid's like actually, he's kind of a standout, like acting wise. I was like, he's kind of good. And then I realized, bro, he was in Sweet Tooth, that one Netflix show or whatever. Sweet Tooth?
Oh, really?
That's the kid from that. So like, it makes sense on why he has all this different experience, and he's been in a lot of other stuff as well. So like, that makes total sense now because I was watching this and he was such a big standout with like how it's not like Oscar worthy stuff obviously, but he's like a 8-year-old kid and he did great for a kid actor and really carried the scenes like you said. And that's actually my next pro is him and the mom on their little adventure to find the girl. The girl. What I loved about the mom is she was the anchor for the movie. When you do a movie like this where 100%, and I'm gonna tell you why. When you have a movie like this that's so stupid but it's funny and it knows what it is, but it's so outlandish, kind of like what you were talking about earlier. You need something to anchor it a little bit to where it's still believable in a way, or it keeps the viewer engaged or grounded. That's what the mom is, because I was sitting there, dude, and I was really engaged in the mom and little Henry's story, because this is a mom who number one, the actress did a great job of really being worried. Her daughter is gone, and there's this cocaine bear on the loose, and the movie got kind of serious around her character, and I loved that because it was kind of a breather away from all like the funny sarcastic remarks and stuff.
Her character was the only one that really had like that development, not even development, but like more of an arc to follow.
100%. And that's I think why I liked it so much. And she, like I said, the actress did a really good job, and that anchor, you really felt it, and I think that's why I was really drawn into her character, because that was a mom and parents that watch this movie. You're gonna feel that same exact way. You know what it's like. How much you love your kid, and you can put yourself in her shoes. And I love that, dude. I felt really connected to their little journey because of that. Now, if the mom wasn't really involved that way, and the acting wasn't as good or the writing wasn't as good around her character, I probably would have just not cared at all for that little journey, except for little Henry. I would have probably liked the Ice Cube, drug dealer thing a lot more. Which was really good, but I just like that more because of the mom and how anchored and grounded the film, which it really needed. So that's what I really enjoyed. And then and like I said, then you have like the
right there.
Yeah, dude. And then you have Ice Cube's son and like the whole drug dealer group, which was really good too, dude. And
I had the best friend a lot. He was like the ex convict, but like completely flipped his whole life, and he felt like one of the most real to me as a character. Like, he was so done with everybody's shit, like, the entire time. He was just not, and he was just, like, giving shit to everybody. He was being, like, a little savage with his attitude. But I thought he was, like, super fucking funny.
And everything
I thought he was super funny.
And all the bad stuff that happened to him. With, like, the bear falling on top of him and stuff, right?
Yeah. They were like, you alive under there? He was like, get this damn bear off me.
No, and he was like, she's a lot of weight, and they're like, how do you know it's a she? He's like, her vagina's on my ear or something like that.
Yeah.
Just like the way you said it. No, that guy did a really good job, man. And I don't know the actors' names. I'm sorry about that, but he was hilarious, man. And his character was just really solid. And then Ice Cube's son, dude, the whole bathroom stuff, we were talking about that. It's one of the best scenes in the movie.
Yeah, that was super cool.
Yeah.
And then I love how they shot it with that single frame shot with like him kind of like leaning in super close. Like it was well done. That was pretty well done.
And we can kind of dive into the directing and the cinematography, man. Elizabeth Banks, who was probably the last person that I would thought would be directing this kind of movie, did, and she killed it. I mean, really.
Yeah, dude. Like even the opening shots of the movie was super
dude, that's what I'm saying.
Cinematic.
And remember the one with like the French couple, and they're like looking off into the distance. It was a really wide angle with them a little bit to the right. That was beautiful. And you know what it gave off, by the way? And we talked about this last week. Firewatch vibes. I don't know why.
Firewatch
I don't know
vibes,
why,
yeah.
but it did, and I fell in love with that shot. So Elizabeth Banks, dude.
Yo, where's the Firewatch movie?
Yeah, that's what we're saying, bro.
Hey,
Yeah, so
we're
Wild
saying.
Style was behind the camera, and she did a really good job. So
No, I totally agree. We
yeah,
were talking about that in the theater.
exactly. Yeah, so she did a really good job. So big props to her. And it was so weird for her to dive into this genre because it's not something she usually does as an actress.
Oh
So that's
yeah.
what kind of. And when I saw Elizabeth Banks, I was like, what? But she did good. So hopefully this opens up more opportunities, and I'm kind of interested in to see what other projects she does now, which I'm assuming she's done stuff previous to this. But yeah, I'm kind of curious to see what she
Gonna have
does.
to take more of a look into that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. So yeah, big shout out to Elizabeth Banks for some of those shots. And I actually did today. I watched like the behind the scenes and how they like created everything, and a lot of it's green screen, which is really cool.
Oh
Like
wow,
all the
really?
tree stuff, obviously, because they're not that high in the tree, but like the background was,
Yeah.
it was really cool, dude. So a lot of soundstage is stuff that they used, which is really weird because you couldn't tell in the movie. It
At
all
all,
seemed like it
no.
was really in the woods. So big
Yeah,
props,
that's
man,
freaking
to Elizabeth
crazy.
Banks. Yeah, just amazing job. But this movie did have, let's see the budget. I have it right here, $35 million budget, which is kind of insane for this movie. But the CGI
Yeah,
bear,
wow.
you know what I mean?
Totally.
That's kind of what most of it went into, was CGI. But still, 35 mil for this movie, it's crazy. That's a big
a
budget.
lot of money.
Yeah, it is, dude. Um,
Damn, you know they paid them boys
oh,
well.
come on now, bro. You know
Oh
they did. Well, you had
man.
some. What's his name? The bad dude.
Oh
That
Ray
passed away. Yes,
Leota.
dude. I mean, he's he's an incredible actor, and the
Yeah, as
fact
soon
that
as
he
we
was in this movie.
saw the message at the end, we were like, "Oh my god, that was him!"
Yeah.
Crazy, yeah. That was a really good performance, actually. Maybe that was an Oscar-nominated worthy
Yeah.
performance.
No, he was good, dude. He did a really good job, and RIP to him, man.
Yeah,
He
rest in
definitely
peace,
went out
man.
with a bang with Cocaine Bear, so that's pretty cool.
Phenomenal movie, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, man. And then let's see what else. I'm gonna do one more thing before we talk about the ambulance scene.
Oh yeah,
There was a shot with the ambulance people when the paramedics when they first got into that little cabin, and then you had
yeah. I was gonna bring that up. Yeah,
yeah, and then you had the lady. What's the name of it?
the Ranger.
The ranger, park ranger. You know, she was obviously she got attacked by the bear, or whatever, sitting in the corner, and they come up with the
Bear.
she came up with the stethoscope, and she like put it up to her, and you hear the heartbeat, and then it slowly goes into the score, and you hear the beat in the score, and you hear it boom, boom, boom for the music, dude. And I love that transition, dude. That was seriously really creative, and I loved it. And like I could just, I almost wish this movie was serious in that aspect.
She picked it up off of her, like it started to go quiet, and then it went silent until it got right here, and then she was like, "Bear,"
dude.
and then it went.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
The way that they played with that was really cool, and just the way, like I said, how easily it went into the heartbeat for the score was really cool, man. And I love that. The heartbeat got faster and faster as a paramedic went and opened the door. I loved it. It was super cool. So that's just a little thing that I really, really enjoyed, and that kind of stuck with me even to the end of the movie. Babe, you got any other pros before we dive into the ambulance scene?
It kind of goes along with the ambulance scene, but the cabin scene, like with the boys, and after she had just gotten attacked by the bear, I think it's a really cool acting scene, and like that's one of those scenes in a movie you sit there and you're like, did I really just see that? Like, was that actually in a movie right now, dude? Like literally. She's like, open the door and move out of the way. He opens the door and you just see the dumbest. Opening your. He's opening your. You see the most dumbfounded teenage face, and he's like, "That's a fucking bear!" And then a giant bullet hole in the back of his, like going through his head, and then he just collapses. And then the friend walks over and he goes, covered in blood. What the fuck? Like it was so funny. And at the same time, like it felt realistic too, because you have this kid who just traumatized, literally. She shuts the door, and she's like, "We need to barricade," and he's like, literally, like moving his friend, freaking just gotten his head blown off.
Dude.
But that's another. It goes back to that same with the ambulance scene what we're gonna talk about in a little bit. What you just touched on, the animation, man. Like with that budget, they did really put it to use. And when people like ask me like what I thought, I was like, obviously like it's not, you know what I mean? It's not like the freaking Irishman or whatever, but the effects are actually really amazing. Like I thought they were really good, and the CGI, like it doesn't really look fake. Like you can tell it's CGI, but like for what's going on, I think they did like a really incredible job, actually.
Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah, the CGI was solid. There's a couple points where it's like, oh, I see that, but there wasn't any
Yeah.
moments where like, I like even Marvel sometimes nowadays you're kind of like, whoa, and
Whoa, bro.
Cocaine
Yeah.
Bear really didn't have any of those moments. Like I said, there was some obvious CGI, but it wasn't like
Yeah.
like the Scorpion King type CGI. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So yeah, overall, yeah, just decent with that. And the ambulance scene happened, which Braden almost left to go use the bathroom too, which
So
was
close.
wild,
I
and he almost
walked
missed it.
out and something like, dude, I got to the side of the theater and I was about to walk past, and there's something like God told me, he was like, you cannot go yet. And I was like, why? I turn back and I look, and the music getting heightened. Bro, all I see is this trooper. Spoiler, this is the scene we was talking about. The trooper, the bear, let's just start here. The bear has the athleticism of Usain Bolt and Michael Phelps combined. And
The cocaine, bro.
literally, yeah, no, freaking flew into the ambulance from like 20 feet away. And the trooper on the stretcher comes flying out while they're going at least 80, 100 miles an hour, just face first into the gravel of the road. And like, it was like Mortal Kombat. I was like, holy shit. Thank you, God, for making me stop in my tracks.
Yeah.
It's
Such
just
a
one of those
gnarly
moments you
scene.
don't want to miss. Yeah, you don't want to miss it. And it's like, that's what I'm talking about with the effects being so good. It was so realistic and so well done.
Yeah. No,
And
it
I
was
like how they
wild.
paid homage to that scene at the end of the movie.
Oh
How the little
yeah.
Henry tried to walk towards it. She was like, "You don't want to look at that." He's like, "Yeah, dude."
He's staring. He's like, "Oh, here's the popo." That was great,
Mm-hmm.
dude. He killed it. He killed it. But no, that scene was wild, bro. And then the girl
Wild.
gets ejected. Remember the driver?
Yeah.
Just the whole
Or no, the dude, his
sequence.
hand first, his
Oh
hand,
yeah,
he's
yeah.
sitting there and he's like, "Oh," and his hand just goes like that,
Oh,
completely off.
bro.
I was sitting there and there's a worker next to me. I didn't even tell you that there was a worker next to me. I thought he
Yeah.
was gonna be like, "Are you sneaking in the theater, boy?" I was like, "I swear to God, no. I have to pee, sir."
Yo, wild scene. It was good. It was good. So if you like gore and you like, horror, like Saw, stuff like that, Hostel, definitely go and get ready for that scene. That scene's worth the movie alone. I mean, even if the rest of the movie was
100%.
trash, that scene made the movie, which is why I was like, oh my God, I hope Brayden did not go. Because you were taking a little long too. I was like, okay, that means he's probably still there.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, just a really fun sequence right there that I think really made the movie super interesting and added something to it for sure. So
I think that's really what the horse of the movie is the effects. Like, it just really, those effects and like the moments, they weren't stupid either. And like, they didn't seem unrealistic. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like a slasher, like you see someone's hand get cut off and it's like a nub and then like squirting blood, like man's whole hand like detached from his
yeah.
wrist. Like, it looked so cool.
Mm-hmm.
It looked super cool.
No, it was dope. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the like injuries were really cool. Especially the girl getting injected was super graphic. The lady falling on her face. You saw like
Yeah,
her
when
face,
the
dude.
front shot, I love that where she flew through.
Yeah, but then the girl or the park ranger that was on the stretcher, bro, when she face planted, you saw like parts of her face get left.
Everything.
It was like a mark. Oh my God, it was brutal.
The
But
amount of
it was
guts.
fun though. Yeah. Oh yeah, that too. And then one of my something too I forgot to mention. The David Spade guy. When he's
Yeah,
up
when
in
he
the
got you on the
tree.
tree.
And then the
Yeah.
bear comes up, and then he, rips him apart or whatever. And you see him fall, and then like the leg fall on top of him or whatever, which was really cool. That shot too was awesome, and you saw it from the
Yeah.
mom's point of view from around the tree. It was a really wide angle, and he just slowly comes in a frame. And then his leg comes. It was so cool, dude. That
And
whole
the bear just boom.
and the sound it made when he hit the ground, it was hard. Like he didn't just like
Yeah.
slowly hit. It was brutal, dude. This movie didn't hold back. So Elizabeth Banks once again killed it. Like it was
That
awesome.
scene was super funny though, how it took the bear, like he's slowly
Yeah.
climbing, then just smells the cocaine on the other guy. Dude,
I know. I
and
was
I thought
scared
it
for
was,
Henry.
yeah, me too. I was like, they're not gonna do that to a kid on TV, right? Like, there's no way. And then he sees the cocaine dude, and at first I thought it was stupid, but I think this is what makes it so funny, is like how long it took him to get up this tree. As soon as he smelled that, bro, was down and up the other tree eating this man within like 4 seconds. Like Usain Bolt.
Well, it was so stupid because Henry was obviously up in the tree, and that's, the mom found Henry up there, and that's the first time we saw Henry since they both got attacked. The girl and Henry got attacked by the bear. He seemed like 40 feet up in this tree, and they were saying get down, and Henry's like no, and he's like, dude, you really need to get down, and Henry's like, bears can't climb trees, and the guy's like, yeah, they can. And then he goes and climbs the tree and dies.
So who told you that?
Yeah, exactly. So it was just funny. It was so ironic.
Oh, yeah, and he was like, so then why did you do it?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
It was good, bro. That whole sequence is really funny.
And they really played on that 1970s, 80s, 90s, like, Georgia vibe.
Dude, the Stranger Things music.
Yo, yeah, we were making comments about that. Gave a very big Stranger Things vibe at some point.
But it felt almost weird. It was like arcade music at like times that people were getting ripped apart. Like it just
getting demolished in the woods.
They did that on purpose, obviously. You know what I mean, to like fit with the film and the tone. But like still, it kind of felt weird. It was kind of off. I was like, I feel like we should be hearing some like Michael Myers music or something. You know what I mean, or something like just brutal. Yeah. But it was cool, man. It was cool. Do you have any other last remarks before we rank this?
No, I think that's pretty much it. It's a really awesome film. It reminds me a lot of like the feeling I get from an Adam Sandler movie. Like I don't really, obviously I think they're definitely still better made, but in terms of like I can go in there, it's a popcorn film like you were saying, like I can just have a good time. No, it was super awesome.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. Now, ranking this film on a scale of 1 to 10, I don't even know how I do this, to be honest.
I know, right?
You know what I mean? Like, should we even rank this?
Because, like, here's my thing. Because, like, my mind, like, I thought it was, like, an 8.8 in terms of how much I liked it. But then, like, realism of how good of a movie, maybe, like, 7.3, 7.6.
Well, not just that. You gave The Whale, like, a 9. So you're saying that this movie's almost as good as The Whale. You know what I mean? Like... That's where it gets weird. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's not consistent. And then we were ranking it higher than, like, Ant-Man. I don't know. It's kind of in its own thing. So, we'll rank it like this. We're going to rank it on a scale of, like, the dumb kind of comedy movie it is. And then we'll rank it on a scale of... I was going to say,
we could do, like, tiers.
Movie. Yeah.
Like S, A, B, C, D,
yeah. So, you can do... I'm still going to do 1 to 10. I'm just saying I'm going to do one where it's, like, like the stupid movie that it is, you know what I mean? Kind of get like a comedy ranking and then like an actual real ranking, you know?
Yeah, okay.
So that's how I'm going to do it. So I'll go ahead and go. Based on a comedy ranking for what it is, I'm going to give this movie like a 9.5 out of 10 for what it was going for. It achieved what it was doing. It's fun, it's stupid, it's exciting, and it did what it wanted to do. Now, on a scale of how good of a movie it is, probably give this movie like a 3.5 out of 10. You know what I mean? But it wasn't. But it's so hard to rank it that because it wasn't going for that. You know what I mean? So like it's not trying to aim toward that. But
10 being like Interstellar.
Yeah. I like 3.5 if that. But it wasn't going for that. So
I would go on a comedy. I would go very similar, like a 9.2, maybe 9.3. You know, it was pretty funny. I definitely will rewatch it again with friends. Yeah. It was a very good time. And then in a serious ranking, maybe like a 5. You know what I mean? Like I've seen worse cheesy movies. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think it's a very average film in terms of like what it's hard because exactly like we're saying, it's not going to be a 10 out of 10 film. It was fine being a 4 or 5, and it knows it's a 4 or 5, and it flexes it's 4 or 5. So it's like, fuck, what do you do?
Yeah.
It's like you see the 4 and you're like, I don't know, but then they're flexing that they're 4 and it's like, shit, are they really a 10? Yeah. You sit there and battle it.
Yeah, well, no, and I respect it for that. There's so many movies out there that kind of flirt with like the wanting to be a 10 out of 10 and the wanting to be a 4 out of 10. And this movie just puts all its eggs in the 4 out of 10 basket, which I respect so much. So thank you for actually being true to that. And like I said, the only like grounded thing they had in this movie was the mom thing, but I feel like every dumb movie needs something to have it grounded. And the ones that don't are the really bad ones. An example is Jack and Jill with Adam Sandler. That's just a movie I just can't watch because there's nothing that grounds it. I literally have not finished the movie.
It's so bad.
I never could finish the movie. I got like 30 minutes in. That was
totally understandable.
Yeah. So just because there's nothing really grounding me to that world, if that makes sense. This movie is a film that, because the mom stuff, I was grounded. You know what I mean? I was there. I was feeling it. I could not relate, but I could understand.
That trio did a really good job.
They did
at keeping an emotional factor involved.
And then you had the Ice Cube, martial arts stuff. So that was fun.
Super cool.
But yeah, overall, that's our ranking for it, man. I do recommend it for sure. If you're just kind of hanging out and want a fun comedy movie, because there's not many of those anymore. This is it. This is the movie for you. So go check it out.
Yeah, it's literally a perfect movie for a date, a hangout. Like it's super fun. It's a cool movie, and definitely, like we were saying, we'll be back to watch it again.
Oh yeah,
fun times.
100%. And like we were talking about too, we're gonna do a ranking of all the movies that we did on our podcast episodes at the end of the year.
Yes.
So that's gonna be fun, dude. Oh my god, I can't wait for that.
You'll see where it lands.
Yeah, that's gonna be exciting. So stay tuned.